Alrighty, everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to the Journeyman Sports Podcast. Today, we are coming at you guys with Mock Draft 2.0. We are excited to do this one, hoping that you guys enjoy it. Hoping to make this one a little bit shorter than the last one. If you guys did watch it, you guys will know, obviously, a decent amount of the players. There is going to be, I'm sure, some changes now that we've had some pro days. We've had a little bit more free agency go on as opposed to the first video that we made. So hoping that this one will be another good video. Sure, there will be some similarities. We're still going to do this one with no trades. Hoping maybe we could do 3.0 with trades if that could work out. So yeah, without any further ado, we'll go ahead and get right into it. And we switch this time. I will be doing the odd numbers and Cade will be doing the evens. So we getting a different look at some teams this time, and we'll actually be picking for each other's favorite teams. So that'll be fun. And Carolina on the clock at number 1. Had a lot of talk with the pro days. I think this one, especially with Frank Reich, he said, he's had high grade on Russell Wilson when he was coming out of the draft.
Bro,
I think,
and 14 people showed up to Bryce Young's workout. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, they had a lot of
14
people
from their organization, including their owner and his wife.
Yeah, and with that all being said, this one's quick and easy. We'll go Bryce Young, number 1 to the Carolina Panthers, and I don't really think that one needs to get talked about a whole lot. And then we move on to number 2, Cade and the Texans.
CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud. Pretty easy.
The arm talent is there, man. I think he has the most talented arm in the draft. Just in terms of pure arm talent, I'm not saying he's the best quarterback. I'm just saying in terms of what his arm can do, CJ Stroud's the best. And I also just think he's the most pro ready. I think he's going to be just if nothing else, I just think he's going to be really, really, really solid. And I think his floor is Kirk Cousins. So, yeah.
That's
not stylistically, obviously, like they're not the same quarterback, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of career wise, I'm saying his floor is Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be where a lot of the parity is between those two guys. Is how good do you think? I think both of these guys at their ceilings, they're top 10 quarterbacks in the league. I don't think there's any debating on that down the line, but I think really the biggest thing, like you just highlighted, is whose floor is going to be better. And I agree with you. Me personally, between these two quarterbacks, I think CJ Stroud is going to be the better one between the two. And I think it's because the floor, I believe, is a lot higher for him just because of just his stature physically. And I think his arm talent is a little bit better. So, yeah, I think that's a good point you pointed out there with the floor. And a team that at number 3 really has a whole lot of things to fix and really can't go wrong with anything here. I'm going to pick Will Anderson, go back-to-back Alabama players here, but I think Arizona, they need to build up the defensive line. I think that's their biggest weakness, and I think Will Anderson is a guy who can come in and be a potential 8 to 10 sack right away kind of guy his rookie year.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's definitely just he's the best edge rusher in this class. As far as what he's put on tape and what he's done at his combine and everything. So
yeah,
I think Arizona's a good fit for him. But I could also see them picking Jalen Carter.
Yeah, I could see either one of those guys going right there.
Okay, so the Colts, man, I don't even really want to decide between the two quarterbacks here because they've been linked to Will Levis so heavily. They've said they love Will Levis publicly. Like, they have, they sent a bunch of scouts to his pro day. Like, I don't know. It seems like it's gonna be Will Levis between Anthony Richardson and Will Levis, but also Anthony Richardson has made himself some money at the combine and um definitely upped his draft stock. So they could surprise us, but for now I'm gonna go Levis here at 4. Even though I think personally Will Levis should not, maybe back into the first round. I don't think he should be a top 10 pick the way that he's being talked about. But, in the Colts situation, they're looking for their franchise quarterback. They're desperate. And I think here, they're going to go with the guy that they like more, the more polished guy, the more,
Ready, so to speak.
Yeah, pro ready. Yeah. So, yeah, I think him at 4, I could also see a world where the Texans go a different way and they select Jalen Carter or do something weird or trade their pick and then Stroud falls to 4. But, that I think that's just the Colts dreaming a little bit. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think in this scenario, Levis goes here.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a bad pick by any means. We know pro days are kind of fool's gold. He made some kind of throws that were good at his pro day, but I mean, I don't think either of us really read into that all too much. Yeah, and I think I could definitely see the Colts. I think regardless of who it is, they're going to take a quarterback there. And I would not be surprised either if the Colts trade up with Arizona to ensure getting one of those guys. But Seattle at 5 is an interesting position. They have said that they're not ruling quarterback out, the offseason, all that. They brought Geno back for 3 years, good money. If I'm Seattle, I'm not going to pick a quarterback here. I'm going to take a guy who's going to make another instant impact on defense, and that's going to be Jalen Carter. I think Seattle in that division right now, we know 49ers don't exactly have an answer at quarterback. We know Brock Purdy and Trey Lance are both good. The Rams, Lord only knows how good or bad they could be. What's the other? The Cardinals are probably not going to be very good this year. I think Seattle needs to buy in right now with what they have. And I think we're going to see a lot of their guys from their draft class last year take another step up. And I think Jalen Carter is going to be a big part of them being, I think, a sleeper contender next year.
Yeah. No, I don't think he falls outside the top 5. So yeah, that's perfect. Detroit, man, they could end up going a lot of different ways here, but I think in this scenario, with the board sitting how it is, I think they take Anthony Richardson here, and start grooming him under a guy that they really like in Jared Goff.
Yeah.
And because that's what everyone's saying Anthony Richardson needs is a few years to sit behind. So you'd be bringing him into a perfect situation with a really good coaching staff, a lot of former NFL vets, a lot of mentorship, and also a lot of time to sit under Jared Goff and really, get to know the playbook, get, comfortable in a system, get comfortable in Detroit. I think that's probably the best situation that he could fall into. Yeah. Realistically. And I think Detroit would be happy because that way you have a lot better of a chance of really capitalizing on his ceiling.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. I like that one a lot. And I think that's honestly, I think that's Anthony Richardson's best case scenario, so to speak. Go to Detroit, sit for a year, let Jared Goff play one more, see what he's got left in the tank. And then you get to learn from a good vet. You're in a good young system with good coaching. And I think he would.
And a lot of other young talent.
Exactly. And yeah, I think that would be a great spot to land for AR-15 there. And the Raiders at 7 is interesting. They've got quarterback now with Jimmy Garoppolo. I think that's a pretty good signing by them. I think they're going to go with Devon Witherspoon. out of Illinois. The DB,
Yeah,
as we see
they
there,
need
is a
secondary.
need, and I think you get probably the best defensive back in the class, and you're just going to try and build some of those weaker positions and see what kind of push you could potentially make with the Raiders in a really tough division.
By the way, can we bro, I just thought about this. How weird is it that Bobby Wagner just re-signed with the Seahawks? Like, I didn't get that at all. But anyway,
That is true.
uh here for the Falcons, bro, I'm gonna make it really easy. You have AJ Terrell on one side. The best corner, in my opinion, in the draft is still left on the board with Christian Gonzalez. So, and I think that's like literally a perfect fit for Christian Gonzalez and the Falcons. Is like, I think that'd just be, literally like cut and paste. Like, you could just put him on the other side, and him and AJ Terrell would just lock shit down because they're both big corners. They're both big body. They're both lockdown corners. Like, they're both very good at what they do, and I think that's like just ensuring your secondary. And then you can worry about edge rusher and things like that further down the line, because this edge class is so deep. But go get your other DB right now, for Atlanta.
Yeah, and I think that's a guy who is not going to fall outside of the top 10. I'd be surprised if either of those corners fall outside of the top 10 or top 12. So I like that pick a lot for Atlanta. And at number 9, Chicago's been a very busy team this offseason. That's a video
They're having their fun.
Yeah, it's a video I think we'll probably be making down the line, talking about that once all of free agency really wraps up. I think they're in an interesting position. To me, I don't know how much of a need wide receiver really is. I think they got DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, Chase Claypool. There's someone I feel
Equinemius
like,
St. Brown.
yep, he's solid. I don't think they need receiver here.
Is
If it were
Pringle still
me,
with them too? I think Pringle's still
I
there.
think he is. He's a solid guy. To me, I think this is Peter Skronsnick. I think this is where he's gonna go. You gotta ensure.
Yeah,
You gotta
that's a good pick.
invest in Justin Fields. Invest in the offensive line. You've given him some weapons. Keep him upright. I think Skronsnick is gonna be really good, and I hope that that's who they take at 9. And I hope it helps Justin Fields a lot.
He's 6'8", and you could easily play him at guard. He's the best pass blocker and the best run blocker in this class. By far too. His hands are insane. He does not let edges beat him inside his chest.
Yeah.
6'4". Feet are great. Oh, he's 6'4". I thought he was 6'8".
He's still got really good size though for a tackle.
No, he does. He's big. I think I was thinking about the other tackle, the other 6'8" guy. But yeah, no, really smart player. And like I said, in a pinch could definitely slide to guard. So he's going to be valuable regardless. Get him on the other side of Braxton Jones and Tevin Jenkins, and let them do work.
Yeah.
Maybe even Alex Leatherwood. We'll see. Maybe he'll make a comeback.
Never know.
See. All right, with the Eagles,
man,
what do you even get for the Eagles? Just because they're so loaded. This is probably a pick that I would look at someone else trading up for.
Yeah, definitely.
I think they're going to trade down here. I think the Patriots are going to move up here, to be honest. But since we're not doing trades, I think you just brought back Brandon Graham. You just brought back Fletcher Cox. Like, you brought back Darius Slay. You brought back James Bradbury. But if anything, like, they didn't bring back their safeties, but then they went and got Edmonds. So I'm like, okay, what the hell? But I guess here is where I'd go. And in this crazy world, I'd go Bijan here. Because you lost Miles Sanders, and Boston Scott is not going to be your starter. So why not just go get the best available at a position you need and fill a hole, like, and with the best player at that whole position. So Bijan is going to be special. You insert him next to Jalen Hurts, that's cracked.
Yeah, that's scary hours.
With that group of receivers too, like you don't need another receiver. Where are you going to put him on the field? You don't need another tight end. Where are you going to put him on the field?
Yeah, that's that's an interesting pick. I think, like you said, they most likely trade down in that scenario, still get
Yeah,
Bijan. But yeah, that really is their biggest need there. And uh, yeah, I like it. And at 11 with Tennessee, I'm gonna pick Quentin Johnson for them. I think we really don't know still what they're doing, if they're gonna completely blow it up or not. I think if
you
you
think
do
you
end up,
think they're really going to move Derek?
I don't think they'll move Derrick Henry. I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan Tannehill gets moved or cut. And then I think, with Malik Willis or Josh Dobbs, whoever they want to move forward with, get him some weapons. Treylon Burks really turned it on for me at the end of last season. And I think getting another weapon is going to be great there for the Titans. So got division rival Texans at 12 next up.
Yeah, the Texans again. Man, I think here's where you go get Tyree Wilson. Um, Tyree Wilson is, in my opinion, he's a top 5 edge in this class for sure. Um, Without a doubt, really good. Yeah, even at 6'6", he's really bendy. And he's fast. And had a good college career. I think, you go get Tyree Wilson, a player who's ranked eighth player in the class. Like you get him at 12, I think you're happy with that, and you get a really good edge rusher to start building that D line in Houston all over again.
Yeah, I I like that move a lot, and I think that's going to keep the defense on pace, and I think that's a good pick for D'Amico Ryans to have a guy that he can really try and mold, as we've seen him do a lot in San Francisco.
Yeah,
So the Jets at 13 is interesting. This is another spot where I could see this team trading this pick, trading down in the first round. Uh
especially I don't know what they're gonna do if they get A-Rod.
yeah, this is assuming if they get Aaron Rodgers, we're assuming this pick would most likely be involved in that. Maybe. We don't really know. I'm going to assume they get A-Rod and keep this pick. That's my thought process here. They don't need receivers. They don't need any offensive weapons, really, skill position wise. I think the defense is fine. I'm going to go with Paris Johnson out of Ohio State. 6'6,
Keep
313.
building that
Dude
offensive
is
line.
a freaking monster. Brick wall. Get Aaron Rodgers some more protection. See if you can extend his career more. Really sure up the offensive line. And I think that's a good pick there.
Yeah, and you have Becton, Elijah Vera Tucker, Paris
A
Johnson.
lot of versatility on that
Yeah,
offensive line.
you'd be able to move some shit around.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Here this is such an easy pick for me, Zay Flowers. They've literally said publicly, like probably 1,000 times now, that they love Zay Flowers. They also show up. They showed up to his combine super deep. They're gonna show up to, or I'm pretty sure they did show up to his pro day already deep. Like they really like Zay Flowers. And that's a really big need for them still. Even if they go get D Hop, I would still say they pick Zay Flowers, just because Devontae Parker and guys like that, they're all right, but you need a dog in the receiver room, and Zay Flowers can play XYZ. He can, and he is a dog. He is very underrated because I think of where he went to college, but getting him at 14 for the Patriots, just pencil it in. If he's there, they're gonna take him.
Yeah, I like that pick. I think no matter who it is, it's a receiver there. And I like the pick of Zay Flowers. And I think even as we get closer to draft day, he's just going to continue to rise in terms of his stock. And I'm going to go another receiver here. to the Packers at 15. Got JSN. I think this is an underrated wide receiver. Obviously, he's ranked high. I think he might potentially be a slow developer to start just because we don't know what the quarterback is really going to look like in Green Bay. But I think that's a guy where you surround him with some talent. That's a young receiver room. I think he's going to be really good in a couple years. So, yeah. Packers have a lot of choices they could make there.
Yes, very true. All right. The Washington Commanders, man. They have needs, but at the same time, their needs are really hard to find because they look pretty complete. But I think here is where I'd put Dalton Kincaid.
Yep, I like that.
I think, that's a big need for them at tight end. And, you have Terry McLaurin, you have Curtis Samuel, you have all these guys in the receiver room. You have Brian Robinson Jr. and Gibson, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. In the running back room, and then we're gonna see what Sam Howell has. So yeah, I think you get the best tight end in the class, and you're really happy about it.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot for Washington. I think that fills a need that they really haven't had in a while, honestly. And this next pick with the Steelers is interesting. I'm gonna go with the secondary. Who's their other safety? It's not Minkah Fitzpatrick. Do they have another good safety? Because for some
They
reason,
just lost Edmonds.
okay, so this actually is perfect for Brian Branch to step in with Minkah Fitzpatrick. This is another guy like Fitzpatrick with a really high football IQ. I think he's going to step in. He'll be an instant starter, and I think he's really going to help shore up what I expect to be the Steelers defense that is, again, in the top half of the NFL, if not top 10.
Yeah. Nah, I can definitely see it. All right, here I'm gonna go Lucas Van Ness, because, or no, I'm sorry. No. My fault. Okay. Yeah, reset. I was looking at I thought I was picking for the Bucks for a second. I'm like, yeah, no. So for Detroit, man, there's another guy that I really like in this class who I'm gonna go and kind of pick high. Just because I think it's a huge need for them. And they traded one away last season. I think they're gonna go get Darnell Washington. Because who is better for Dan Campbell than Darnell Washington, bro? Okay. I think no. I think that Darnell Washington is the perfect tight end for them, and I think he's gonna rise up. They have him ranked 71. But to me, everything that I've heard, he's the second or third tight end in the class. So
yeah.
I don't know what that's all about, but Darnell Washington is the best blocking tight end in this whole entire draft. And Dan Campbell loves that type of player. And he's also running a 4.6 and catching and doing all this crazy stuff as well. Just smoking people. So it's like, why not go get the best player at the position that you want?
Yeah.
Give Anthony Richardson another weapon. You have, Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown on the outsides now. Like, you just got to figure a couple more things out. You're well on your way.
Yeah, I like that pick. I think Darnell Washington, like you highlighted, is going to be a big riser as we continue in the draft process.
I think there's no way he does not go in the first round.
Yeah, and that's me personally. This could be a guy that I know one of us will draft in the first round. I think that could be a spot potentially for Michael Mayer. I think I like the tight end pick regardless for the Lions there. At 19 with the Buccaneers, they address quarterback with Baker Mayfield. They also need a tight end. I think we're going to go back to back tight ends.
They addressed quarterback with a Baker Mayfield.
I think we're going to
like
give.
What?
It's a weird statement in 2023. I understand it, but we're going to address it. We're going to give Baker Mayfield another weapon with Michael Mayer. I think
fire.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see Baker come back to MVP form with Michael Mayer. As Skip Bayless has said 400 million times, 20 touchdowns and 2 picks in an 11-game stretch. And I think if Baker plays at a decent level, Michael Mayer is going to be really good. And yeah, I think that's a pretty good pick for the Bucs. Give Baker another weapon on offense and see where the cookie crumbles. And this is a fun pick, I think, for you at 20 with Seattle. There's one guy I would highly consider here.
Here, I'm gonna go Lucas Van Ness. That's where I like him because you add Jalen Carter, okay, at 5. Then you turn around and add possibly probably the second or third best edge in the class. You're really shoring up that D line. We'll see what else they do in free agency, but you got B-Wags, you know. I don't see a reason to double dip at defensive tackle. So I think you go get your edge, put him in there with your rookie DT, and you just let them bang shit out.
Yeah, I like the pick. And 21 here with the Chargers is an interesting spot. I'm going to go with a corner. I'm going to go with Joey Porter. I think this is the best corner on the board at this point. We saw, especially defensively, the struggles, injuries with the Chargers last year. I think that's a guy that can come in and play right away if you need him to. And I think
watch out for Breesy here too. I think the Chargers are really looking at Breesy.
Yeah, and I think it's a defensive pick no matter who it is for them. So got the Ravens next at 22, and I'm gonna let you take your stance with the whole Lamar situation for how you pick this.
I hate what they're doing with Lamar. I really do. I think out of anyone that you should pay, it should be Lamar. You paid Roquan Smith.
Right away.
You paid Roquan Smith right away. You know, I don't know. I don't like what's going on at all. But here, I think everyone thinks it should be a receiver. And I think as long, I don't know, because I could see them going in a lot of different directions with receiver. They really like small receivers. And I don't know. But for me, I think, you know, you're not too sure about what's going to happen on your offense right now. And you're not even sure if Lamar is going to be playing. He might, you know, you never know what's going to happen with like holdouts and things like that. So I think you stick to what you've been doing, and what they've been doing is building that defense sky high. So I'm gonna go get Kalijah Kancey right here.
I like that.
I think Kalijah Kancey's the style of player that the Ravens look for anyway. You know, just kind of a fundamental, strong dude. You add and beef up that front because you just lost Calais Campbell. And you know, you get a young, really good, you know, run stopper in there and a good pass rusher in there as well, who's also very athletic, and they like their athletes in Baltimore. So yeah, I think you just shore up the defense and keep building what you know until you kind of figure out what's going to happen with the offense.
Yeah, I like that pick. And I think, especially considering they released Calais Campbell, I think this is a good replacement type of player. And yeah, I think if he falls this far down the board, I think that's a win for whoever gets him in the
I
20s.
could also see him to Detroit at 18, but
That would be the other
the
spot I could
Darnell
see.
Washington pick was just kind of a fun one. I don't know. Like, I think, obviously that he probably won't go that high, but I think it just would be such a perfect fit for him to be in Detroit.
Yeah, I like the pick for either of those teams, and I'm gonna go another defensive lineman here. I'm gonna go Brian Breesy for the Vikings. I think this is a solid pick just with how versatile he can be on the defensive line, and I think that's what Minnesota needs is that pass rush. I could see this being Deontay Banks too, but I think they're going to shore up that defensive line and that pass rush. And now I'm going to trust you to take care of my Jaguars here at 24.
I'm gonna well, I mean, I think this one's easy. I don't think, with them losing Shaquille Griffin, you gotta go get another corner. And here's yeah, I'm gonna go Deontay Banks out of Maryland.
I think we had him going here in the last mock too.
Yeah, we did.
Consistency. Let's go.
Yeah, no, I think, I think that's just the best pick for them. And I think he will fall to them. I think he'll be there. So if you can get a player like that at 24 and kind of shore up the other side from what's the corner? What's your guys' good corner's name?
Tyson Campbell.
Yeah, Tyson Campbell. You put him on the other side of Tyson Campbell, and you let them go to work.
Yeah.
See what he can do.
And
he's a fast guy too. He's fast.
Yeah,
fast.
Underrated speed, definitely. And I think I'm gonna break the run of defensive players we've had here. The Giants, now that they have Darren Waller, they don't need to go tight end at all. I think they're gonna get a receiver. I think this is where we're gonna see Jordan Addison go. I think he's just a good player, and I think giving Daniel Jones another weapon with the money you just paid him, that's where it's got to go. I think you've got to invest in your investments, and I think Jordan Addison is going to be a really good player in that system.
The Cowboys, man.
A lot of good players still left here.
Yeah, the Cowboys are just
be another receiver.
No, I don't think so. I don't think they go receiver. Is probably where we see. I think they're gonna go Jahmyr Gibbs, the running back out of Alabama. I think and 2 running backs in the first round might be steep. Obviously, the Eagles one is kind of contingent because it's based on the fact that they're probably going to trade down. And that was just their biggest need. But Jahmyr Gibbs, I think this is probably where Bijan will go. But either Bijan or Jahmyr Gibbs here, I think they're going to, still try to have that 1-2 punch, bring back that thunder and lightning. They just don't want to pay the money to Zeke. So go get a rookie who's a lot cheaper and have them just do the same thing. And I think Jahmyr Gibbs can bang it out like Zeke can, but also take off and burn defenses as well. And you're getting a absolute weapon.
Yeah, that would be a really good 1-2 punch with him and Tony Pollard. I like that pick for the Cowboys. And the Bills at 27, really just between Nolan Smith and Myles Murphy. And I think I'm going to go with Nolan Smith here. I just like the quickness and the size that he has. I think he's just going to be another versatile player for Buffalo. And especially with the uncertainty around Von Miller and his injury and just really how long he wants to keep going, I think this is a good insurance policy for that. And then it's just he gets to learn in a really good system, and I think they're going to help him reach his full potential.
I like that pick as well. I think adding to that defense is all you can do because that offense is so stacked. I mean, I could see them going tackle here as well, but if they don't go tackle or somewhere on the offensive line, I could definitely see them going Nolan Smith.
And the Bengals at
Here,
28.
yeah, I'm gonna go Will McDonald to the
Like
Bengals
it.
here. I think Will McDonald. I think there's gonna kind of be a run on edges in this first round, just because there's so many talented ones in this class. But Will McDonald, in my opinion, could crack the top 10, and I'd still be fine with it. He's a very good edge rusher, very very underrated. But I think his ceiling is higher than any other edge in this class. So getting him at 28 is a big steal. Take care of my Saints now.
I
Don't
know.
don't do
I'm
us wrong.
I'm between a couple here. I'm most likely gonna go Miles Murphy. I think with his size, he could play inside if you need him to. I think similar to this Buffalo pick, this is a little bit of insurance on Cam Jordan. I think he could play on the other side as well. Who is your guys' other edge rusher? It's not Cam Jordan. Do you even have a good one, or
We have Peyton Turner because
so not?
Marcus Davenport just left us.
Yeah, and I think
Well, he
especially
didn't
with
really leave. He didn't really leave us. We just didn't want him.
yeah, I think Miles Murphy's a good pick here, like 6'5", 260. I think he has the power to potentially play inside. Um, and like you said, you're getting that run on defensive lineman right here, but I think that's just essentially a best available and similar to Buffalo insurance policy on an aging but still good edge rusher that you're not sure how much longer he's really going to be at his peak or with
I
your team.
I think here's where you go Darnell Wright, the tackle, because I just thought about it. They signed Lane Johnson to a 1-year extension. Now
Darnell Wright
Lane
over.
Johnson, huh?
No, nothing. Keep going. I was just
Yeah, Darnell Wright. Uh, just because he's recently risen, he's at least on most boards he's ranked 28th. I don't know what. I don't PFF is weird. Um, but yeah, on most boards he's ranked 28th. Going to the Bengals there, but I think Darnell Wright here makes perfect sense. They just signed Lane Johnson to a 1-year extension. Um, so for I think like 30 plus million. And they definitely don't want to be paying that for a long time at all. So go get your insurance policy for, possibly if you have someone go down, or you could put him on the other side and back up one of your other starting tackles. But if nothing else, you have a insurance policy for if Lane Johnson leaves next season and he's very, very good and ready.
yeah. I like that pick a lot, and I think it's going to be a tackle regardless of which one it is for the Eagles. There, the Chiefs are an interesting spot here. I could see potentially wide receiver with them losing.
I could see tackle here too,
I could argue tackle as well. They
because
they
they
brought
just lost
in,
Orlando Brown.
but they did bring in the Jaguars starting tackle, Jawan Taylor. I thought that was a good move by them. Was really hoping Jacksonville could get him back, but I'm gonna not go tackle. I think I'm trying to think because with who's their other tackle? I'm completely blanking right now.
Um,
Hold on,
shoot.
I need to look this up.
It's not. They have Creed Humphrey at center. Their guards are
Andrew
the
Wiley,
Chiefs
he's
O-line.
tackle, right?
Yeah. Oh, and then they have. I can picture his face, but I don't know. I can't think of his name.
They have Jawan Taylor and Lucas Niang, who I don't know if he's any good or not.
Lucas Niang's. He's decent. He's decent. He's decent. He's just a kind of a big body though.
Yeah, I'm
Crazy.
gonna go receiver. I'm gonna pick Josh Downs here. Actually,
Interesting
no.
pick.
Nah, I'm not going to. I'm gonna go with nope, not him. Wrong name. Go with another. I'm gonna go with DeJuan Jones. This is an Indiana guy right here. he is just freaking huge. Like, this is a mountain of a man
And he's a senior, so you know you're getting a well-groomed product.
from Ohio State who is known to groom offensive linemen. I think this is just another pick where you're just further
The rich get
investing in
richer.
Mahomes. I think even if they don't want to play him right away, I think that's fine. I think you give him the possibility to just sit back, learn a little bit, learn from the other players, and then whenever you feel comfortable putting him in there, you can. And I think he's going to be ready whenever that is. So that was the mock draft, and I think
That's the mock.
that was a pretty good one for 2.0. We saw some change.
We saw some surprises. We saw some surprises sneak in there. And you definitely, you see the influence of draft culture by just maybe we jumped the gun a little bit on some players, but it's also because of what we're seeing and what we're hearing and what we're, like it hypes them up in your head to where you're like, oh no, there's no way they can fall back past this point. So it's like, yeah. But yeah, it's been a good one. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please drop a like and subscribe. And we will see you next time.